We should fight the dancer now.
Prince Lothric is in your hands. Please save his soul. Tell him what he must be, a law.
I had a feeling that would happen. If she doesn't die, we don't get the Basin of Vows, and without that, we can't proceed forward. The only dancer skip involves Teardrop, and we can't do that either. So, is that it? I'm sure you get the pattern by now. I don't give up. You can't die, lady. Not if I die first. Now for the moment of truth. Perhaps it was a simple solution, but quite unbreakable. I mean, what problem can't stabbing yourself fix? And now, we get to fight and die against a dancer for the next couple of hours. Now, one might infer from that sentence that I did not enjoy this, but a dancer is a really fun fight for me. And after a lot of night rain, I'm glad to be back dodging her blades and panicking at the last moment and throwing. Good times. Even if I'm doing minuscule damage, at least I'm having a fun time knowing that when I do get hit, it's because I messed up. Yes, Aldrich, I'm still coping from your hitboxes. Cry about it. The biggest problem is that every time I die, I have to reset from the high walls of Lothric Bonfire. So the run back does start to annoy me after some time. Doesn't help that it starts me off a bit damaged, but oh well. I would recommend doing a low damage kill of Dancer at least once. It's quite an experience. In any case, I get more than my fill of the fight and decide to end it. Okay, game, how many times are you planning on this happening, huh? Answer me, you coward! Before the fight ends, you typically need to use the weapon art twice to avoid the soul gain. But for some reason, the souls are appearing in my inventory even faster now. The real question is, why? Honestly, no clue. Never noticed it until now, but different bosses have different timings for them to give you their souls. I'm assuming it's based on their death animation, but I have no way of knowing for sure. My only concern is if there's a boss that requires a death quicker than what we can provide, but I don't think any of the bosses fit that description. What we do know is that we will have to be one-shot to have a chance at winning against the dancer. And while I am a tad annoyed that I have to redo the fight again, it doesn't take much longer to get my next successful attempt. And it's time for the moment of truth. With that out of the way, we finally have access to Lothric Castle, where we can get ganked by the armada of hollows. Good hustle, guys. Great killing technique. But wrong place. Could you please save that for before boss fog walls? Thanks. Dragons. Surely you can behave and not kill someone for 10 seconds, right? Yeah, I suppose that's too much to ask of you. If you go the other way, though, they will somehow avoid killing someone. At least the rest of the area is brief, but don't stick around. Make sure to get the elevator shortcut. Yeah, shortcut. Definitely a shortcut. Who the hell designed this thing? You already know the gist. We do low damage, boss does high damage. So we just have to play well and not get hit. Does anyone have some ibuprofen? I have a headache. The Dragon Slayer is ultimately not that hard of a boss to fight. The biggest issue is the divided attention between the armor and the pilgrim butterflies. During the second phase, just make sure to pay attention to the audio cues that lets you know when they are attacking. That way you can have most of your attention focused on the armor. Play patient and make sure not to get smacked by the shield that is twice as dangerous as the axe. Luckily, we don't have to worry about getting into one-shot range during this fight because Miyazaki has kindly provided us a place to do some cordless bungee jumping. Classic. With that, only 2 bosses remain. Buckle up though, because this game won't go down without a fight. Just the way I like it. Progressing through the actual castle goes unnaturally smooth, but we don't question those. The twin princes are an interesting fight. The first... You know what? You don't need me to rehash the obvious stuff. You get the point. Boss hurt, me do little damage. There's only one solution to this narrative gap. Play the music! So, good news, I killed him. Bad news, he's still alive. I played the game a little too well and close to one-shot, but apparently the Twin Prince's death monologue is so damn long, you just kind of have to wait it out and time it well. Well, screw doing all of that again. New plan, cheese. This is a classic cheese, you know it. Your opinions on it might be mixed, but it's the Prince's second phase AI freeze. What you might not know about it, however, is that a bow isn't required to pull off this glitch. If you position your character right and only hit Lothric, it's possible with melee as well. It's just very precise and very tedious. So precise that I fail most every time I try it. Ultimately, I just end up killing him normally again and hoping that this time I get the timing right. Surely I won't be stuck here for another hour, right? Oh, we got it. Sweet. And then one remains.
The Lords of Cinder, made strong by the souls that powered them, and the Ashen One, deprived of all souls by his own hands. For in a world where souls grant strength, is there nothing more terrifying than a man who kills gods, powered only by his own soul, his own determination? A man who has known death 1,000 times and overcame whatever got in his way. To those who overcome the odds, a title is bestowed. John Dark Souls. How fitting that the last foe he faces is the Soul of Cinder. A battle between a conglomeration of souls and the one man who kept his own soul to the end. But we shall see which one is stronger.
Now, the Soul of Cinder is perhaps the worst foe you can face in a low damage run, and that's for a couple of reasons. The first is that he can heal himself, which is really annoying if you combine that with his already high resistances. We are positively tickling him. And do you know how I know we are doing too little damage? Because after getting him to half health, my weapon was at danger of breaking. Keep in mind, we can't pay Andre to repair them should they actually get to the breaking point, and at about 8 minutes of aggressive gameplay, he finally phase transitions. It's worth noting that if you played more passive, it would take much longer, but it would also be at least 2 minutes shorter if you somehow managed to not get the curved sword moveset or the healing from the spear phase. But because of how long the fight will get drawn out, the chances are you will encounter those. Hours upon hours of attempts, and it eventually starts getting to me. You know, there are a few ways I can increase my damage. First, I get Flynn's and Chloranthy Ring. Just make sure to be quick since Sigurd and the demon are still duking it out. I was happy with that, so I went back to the fight against the Soul of Cinder, and dying, until I realized that I was also forgetting another good ring that's easy to grab, the Knight's Ring. You can grab this from Lothar Castle, which gives you 5 extra strength, which is honestly really good at our low level. With that out of the way, we can actually focus on trying to kill the Soul of Cinder. However, I'm still not doing quite as good as I need to do to win. If only there was a narrative device that could build up hype and make me play better. Oh yeah, I did pay for the rights to use Can't Go to Hell, so might as well use the rest of it. In the end, thanks to my skill, cleverness, and the copious amount of backup saves I made, we finally claimed victory, accomplishing what was previously thought impossible. The world's first ever no-soul run of any Dark Souls game. And perhaps this is the hardest run I will ever do. Or perhaps this is just the beginning. While this run was certainly impressive, or at least I think so, it shall be outdone in its due time. And I wouldn't be a good Souls player if I didn't give some advice to whoever next attempts it. The first is, this run is actually completely possible without glitches. If you abuse quitouts, you can actually reach the Mimic below the dragon. And using some undead hunter charms, you can also pick up in Lothric, you can obtain the Mimic head. And I'm sure you know just what you can do with that. Although it will take some grinding. And I'm sure there's probably more alternative methods that I didn't think about, but that's the beauty of Dark Souls. There's always multiple ways to do something. It just takes one person to figure out that the thing is possible in the first place. As it's been said by an extremely cool yellow fruit I admire, it always seems impossible until it is done. And with the hell I've just unleashed upon the challenge run community, I'd love to see more people attempt no-soul runs of their own. Seriously, just at me in your description, and I'll check it out. Also, I have a bunch of cool run ideas that involve viewer participation that I want to try, so if you want to help me make those videos come to fruition, join my Discord. I'll leave a link in the description. Or even if you don't want to help me with those videos, I'd appreciate it if you join regardless. Lastly, don't be afraid to watch some of my other videos. I promise I put a great deal of effort into them as well. It also helps the algorithm know you enjoyed what I made and lets others enjoy my videos. But with that out of the way, until I see you next time, stay safe, and don't you dare go hollow.
If you're gonna attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well.
God damn these monkeys messing with my freaking income, okay? It was a mistake. Yeah, I'm racist. We're all a little bit racist, okay? Just admit it, you monkey.
Welcome to an all-new Lay It On Me. Allow me to lay it on you. Good day, ladies and gentlemen of the non-free world. This is your Captain Omni speaking. I know exactly what you're thinking. 2 videos in a row, back to back? What is this, a crossover episode? Well, actually it is, because today we're talking about one of my favorite topics to talk about on the internet. Racism. Nothing like a good old your skin is different from mine so I hate you all-out war to spice the day and inject in the vein. Today's subject happens to be the gym hero, American Saitama, and my fellow bald brother in arms, Joey Swole. His name is Joey, and he's swole. You've probably seen or heard of this guy once or twice, where he rightfully so calls out jerks, creeps, and assholes of the gym community and ends in the famous quote, "do better." However, as most of you at home, the biggest weakness of being the leader of the morality police is when your own morality gets called into question and that two-sided axe gets pointed at you. It seems as of the past week, he's been on the other end of the chopping block due to a series of events that all started with the recent death of popular wrestler Hulk Hogan. It is painfully obvious that it's behooved onto me that I am the only person on the internet that is qualified enough to give the only opinion that matters on this subject. But first, here's the other El Gato. It's Indy, the OG. He's here. Man is like 13 or 14 years old. He says, "Hi, okay, here you go. I am presenting said El Gato, said kitty." I showed you guys my Indy. Now you guys have to like the video, okay? You just have to. That's a part of the rules. And subscribe if you haven't already, okay? Anyway, you guys know the drill. Sit back, relax, put your feet up, and yeah, allow me to lay it on you. So what had happened was, Hulk Hogan died. Yeah, The American pro wrestler, known for his iconic handlebar mustache and saying the word brother, first stepped into the ring in 1977 and retired in 2012. Over a 35-year career, Hulk Hogan became one of the most recognizable and influential wrestlers of all time. But while he was beloved in his wrestling world, his legacy got a bit complicated. Back in July 2015, that was like 10 years ago, there was a private conversation from a 2007 sex tape that got leaked. Hulk Hogan, whose real name is Terry Bollea, something like that, I don't know, but he made some explicitly racist remarks, dropping the N-word multiple times and expressing his disgust at the idea of his daughter dating a black man. So TLDR, Hulk Hogan saying that, hey, if you're going to go have sex with one of those freaking monkeys, okay, just make sure it's a rich one. My boy Frieza would be proud. Anyway, fast forward to last week. Hulk Hogan dies, okay? I think he passed away from cardiac arrest. Some people are mourning the loss of a wrestling legend, while others are just straight up celebrating the death of a racist. 3 days ago, Joey Swole had made a tweet saying, rest in peace to a legend and one of my inspirations to start working out, Hulk Hogan. Praying emoji, heart emoji, and it's him cosplaying Hulk Hogan in this outfit while doing bicep curls, got the mustache and everything. Another picture here showing rest in peace Hulk Hogan. I'll never forget when he personally sent me this costume for Halloween, and it's him posing as Hulk Hogan to pay tribute to the fact that Hulk Hogan died. So at this point, you guys don't need me to find all the receipts and the tweets and the TikToks of everyone being outraged at Joey Swole for showing support of Hulk Hogan after he died, okay? You know exactly how that played out. TikTok basically calling him a hypocrite. TikTok's calling him a racist. Same thing with Twitter as well, okay? Just a lot of people being big baby rage mad. While this was all happening, apparently Joey went on TikTok and was doing a TikTok live, and this popular famous clip has been playing. I have not seen it. It's gonna be the first time you and I are watching it. But apparently, he made an oopsie whoopsie.
Listen, I can post Hulk Hogan if I want to. Just because somebody makes a mistake in their life doesn't mean that they haven't done good things. I don't know what he did, and he said something 20 years
If you're gonna attack me, you better go after the colored athletes and the people that are black and minority that went and posted him as well.
Okay, the man was nice to me. He made a mistake. I'm not God. People make mistakes in life. If you got a problem with that, look at yourself. There's not one single person in here that hasn't made a mistake in their life. So
Colored? Colored athletes? No. Where's the clip, bro?
Let's go.
Oh man, that's exactly how I felt watching that, bro. Man, Joey is dropping the word coloreds in the year 2025. Oh no. Genuinely, I don't think even the most racist people that I know even use the word color. Okay, coloreds is for like the OG races, the ones back in 1910. That is that old Latin verbiage for calling black people. That's a little crazy, right? Okay, but it gets worse.
You see me supporting racism. I've literally done videos against racism. I bought a black girl a gym membership that was being discriminated against at the gym. People are attacked. This is the internet, guys.
Guys, he bought a black girl a gym membership who was being discriminated at the gym. That's the equivalent of I got a black friend. One of my closest friends is black, and his name is Tyrone. What do you mean? He's from the hood. He's from the streets. All right, one of the blackest blacks you colored people you've ever met. Okay. I'm having fun with this. Let's continue listening, okay?
People only love you until they can find something to try and tear you down about. And that's okay.
That's true. That's true.
Who is posting
Sometimes.
about the fact that I said,
Sometimes.
I didn't mean anything bad by saying colored. I didn't mean anything bad by that. So if that was wrong, I apologize. Somebody already educated me on that. But if that's what you want to be upset with me about, I don't know what you want me to say.
Man is literally turning into the red Kool-Aid man. Like his entire body is glowing red with shame. It's like his entire body is fighting back at him and saying, shame on you. Oh man, he's getting cooked. He knows that it's not a good look right now. It's not a good look.
I didn't mean anything by it. There was nothing racist about that. Wow, I said that. Good for you. People of So wait, so it's okay to say person? Because somebody earlier that was a minority was saying person of color, so it's okay to say person of color? How about have a conversation with me?
Sounds like, I don't know, I'm guessing dude is like in his mid-40s. His first time discovering the concept of hearing the word POCs. Hasn't upgraded his vocabulary from coloreds, I suppose. So no opinion from me yet, okay? I'm just giving some funny commentary for some hee-hee-ha-has. However, since then, he has now made an apology video, I believe that came out as of yesterday. So here it is, literally just posted on Instagram, okay? We got a Joey Swole YouTuber, Instagram influencer apology in 2025. I didn't see that in the cards. Let's watch it.
I owe my followers, my community, and all of social media an apology. A few days ago, I reposted an old video of me in the gym wearing a Hulk Hogan Halloween costume on the day that he passed. Last night in my live stream, a lot of people expressed how upset and frustrated they were with me that I had posted that. Instead of listening and understanding like I should have, I became defensive and said that I was posting to celebrate the wrestling icon, the person that so many of us looked up to as kids that we grew up with, that made us tear our shirts and take our vitamins and say our prayers. I didn't know to the extent of all the horrible things that he had done. Since last night, I have done a lot of research, talked to a few people, and learned all of the horrible things that that man has done, which is way more than just making a mistake and being human.
Okay, so Joey's saying, I didn't know. Joey's saying, bro, Hulk Hogan, the person who sent me a costume, right, that I adore, my hero that I love, this guy, my icon, right? I didn't know he did something that bad, which, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know if I believe it or not. I'm not trying to say, I don't know. If I have somebody that I highly look up to, that highly regard was the reason for me doing something like Markiplier or something. If something happened where something bad happened with one of my heroes, I think I would know, to be honest, because I would be like in the know of looking in that. But that's just me saying he didn't know, bleeding ignorant, so let's just continue.
So because of that, I have taken the videos down and I apologize to anybody that I offended. I am sorry. Also, during last night's live stream, I used the word colored instead of saying person of color, which is a very outdated, very offensive term. A few moments later, somebody educated me and told me that it wasn't okay to use that, which I immediately apologized to everyone and said I would never do that again. So once again, to anybody that I offended, I am sorry.
So, okay, Joey's saying, you know, I'm a little outdated. I haven't updated my specs. I'm not keeping up with the culture. Okay, so I don't even know what a POC means. And to be fair, back in the day, I would say a long time ago, when the word POC started to get thrown around more and more, I kept hearing saying, see, pox. I was like, what is pox? Pox? So for a while, I didn't even know what it was until I kind of looked into it and realized it meant people of color kind of thing. So there's an ignorance phase. He's saying that that's now, that he didn't know what that was, but I do not know a living human being that is racist that are still calling people colors. I don't, because if you use that term in your normal day vocabulary, someone's gonna call you out in the 45 years on Earth that you've been alive. Someone's gonna call you out on it, right? Someone has to have called you out on it, unless maybe you're just around a lot of people who also use the same vocabulary, question mark, maybe not having enough black friends to kind of check that, or some people believing that he's truly just a racist and that was a slip.
You know, my whole page, my whole brand is based on holding people accountable and doing better.
Okay.
I would be a hypocrite if I didn't hold myself to the same standards. I am human, I am still growing, I am still learning, and I promise all of you, I will do better. I have nothing but love and kindness in my heart. I will continue to try to make the world a better place, and once again to everybody, I apologize.
Here's Instagram comments, okay? Somebody here saying, I'm offended that you took the video down and apologize, bro. The thing about apologies on the internet is when you apologize and people will still find, both sides will be like, I'm disappointed in you for apologizing. Another person said, I felt it was a celebration of his wrestling legacy. I don't know why people aren't so sensitive. King Bot in here saying, love, bro, 3 heart emojis. King Batch, bro, that's crazy. That's crazy funny that King Batch, who's infamously known for potentially being one of the shucking drivers of the internet, okay? But it's funny seeing, I was like, I'm waiting to see the first colored person to make a comment here, and it's King Batch, so I already know that this reply thing is kind of probably hilarious. I don't know, guys, if I'm Joey Swoll right now, okay, I'm not out here feeling remorse, okay? I'm out here being like,
God damn these monkeys messing with my freaking income, okay? It was a mistake. Yeah, I'm racist. We're all a little bit racist, okay? Just admit it, you monkeys.
all right, jokes aside, commentary aside, okay, here's my honest opinion about the situation. It sucks to suck, but I think one of the drawbacks of being a judge on the internet is that eventually people start rooting for your downfall so they can, you know, judge you back. It's a tale as old as time, and honestly, it's one of the reasons why I do my best not to get too judgmental myself. There's that saying about stones, glass houses, like you shouldn't toss stones if you live in a glass house type situation, and I believe that we all have glass houses. Every single one of us has got some skeletons in the closet, so that's just my personal belief. Potentially unpopular opinion, but I think Joey Swoll, the character, has been extremely net positive for the internet. Most of the people he's called out, they did actually suck, okay? They were mocking innocent bystanders, they were harassing strangers, or trying to spark some kind of gender war for clout, okay? They definitely deserve the criticism. That said, I did kind of cringe a little bit at the end of his videos when he said, like, do better. I think it might be just a me thing. I think it's the statement itself, okay? It feels like when people say that, they're kind of morally punching down, coming from a holier-than-thou place, grandstanding, if you will, which sometimes makes it feel like it's less about helping people and more about projecting your ideals. I didn't get that vibe with Joey, though, because, again, I think he was calling out actual scumbags. But yeah, as for his support with Hulk Hogan, I'll keep it simple. I think the real debate is whether you can respect Hulk Hogan's legacy while acknowledging Terry Bollea's, I think that's his name, Bollea, let's just call it what it is, his pretty messed up racist rants and views on black people. People have argued about separating the art from the artist for decades, and they'll keep arguing about it for decades more. But personally, all right, and this one's gonna rustle little jimmies, okay? I think that we can do both. Hulk Hogan, the wrestling icon, pretty dope, pretty cool. You know, what he stood for and what he did and how he made you feel, I think pretty awesome, okay? Terry Bollea, however, the man, not so much, okay? Dude seems like he might have been devious and kind of just did not like black people, and we don't really support that here. I'm the only one that's allowed to be racist on the internet. As of right now, I think my stance is that I believe you can kind of honor the symbol someone represented to you without excusing the person behind it. Someone can inspire you to kind of like work harder or grow or change your life in a positive way, and it doesn't automatically disappear just because later you find out they were secretly Frieza the whole time. As for Joey himself, I don't know, the verdict is out, okay? He's dropped a bit of few breadcrumbs that kind of makes me believe that he could probably be leaning on the same side of Hulk Hogan, okay? He could also be one of those miseducated, just older white guys who just, you know, don't know anything because they, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. Those kind of white guys, but they need to be educated in their 40s. I don't know. I don't want to pretend that I know based off this information that I know who the guy is. Okay, I'm not ready here to generalize who he is. I'm suspicious. It's a little sus. But he said he's trying to take accountability and he's trying to apologize as well. And I do think it's important to give people rooms to get out, to be better, to do better. Because yeah, if you don't, then we'll just continue to suck. All right. If you don't want people to change, then they will just stay who they are and just hanging out with the people, the races that call other people colors. It's kind of like that. But I don't think I want to be so quick to label him. Okay, I'll keep my eyebrow up. It's one of those like, okay. Dully noted type situation. Anyway, that's all I have for this episode of Lay It On Me. You've just been laid. Moral of the story: do better. I know y'all saw that coming. That's right. I am now the army of the Swole Police. That's right. I am the commander and leader of the moral police. All right. You guys will join me in my army of do-gooders, okay? And we'll go around on the internet telling everybody why we are better than them. Because I feel like that's basically what the internet has just come down to. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the situation. I'm open to all interpretations, all right? What do you think about Hulk Hogan? What do you think about Joey, okay? Did he bend the knee? Should he have apologized? Should he not? Was it a big deal? Was it something that was actually more important? Is there something to be sus about? Okay, I'd love to hear your opinions below. Case adjourned. If you guys did like the video, by the way, on your way out, just drop that like button. It would mean a lot to me. It lets me know you made it to the end of the video. And subscribe. Come join our army, okay? I love y'all. Y'all take it easy. Brush your teeth. Do it. And floss, man. Don't get that gingivitis. I love y'all. Y'all take it easy.
Years now, and nothing has been done about it despite countless conversations from users about it. And this isn't some like wackadoo conspiracy that you can just write off as just like fake paranoia over nothing. This isn't like 5G and airport body scanners blasting you with gay beams that turn you into a mutant that craves penis or something. This is a very real thing. And it's not even like it's hidden or anything. It's not exactly a secret. It's about as much of a secret as ketchup's main ingredient being tomatoes and sugar. It is blatant. And for the longest time, it felt like they did nothing to stop it. So, tons of streamers over the years have just shamelessly used viewbots to inflate their numbers to float to the top of the categories and grow, which is, of course, very unfair to the people that don't do that, but there's never been any, like, real punishment that I can see for it. Even in the most extreme and obvious cases where someone bots up to, like, 10k viewers on Mr. Hoggleberry's, farmyard, barnyard adventure or something, and it's like a streamer with 400 followers. Even in cases like that, I've seen they get maybe like a temporary suspension, then they're back like the next day and still do it again, but make it like, instead of 10k viewers, it's like 400 viewers just to stay at the top. And of course, it's a tool not just utilized by streamers trying to get noticed in a very saturated market, it's also been a tool used by some of the biggest streamers on the platform.
Yeah, I mean, of course, he's on Twitch, it's real. There's no view bots or fake bots on Twitch.
You should start viewbotting, man. Dude, actually, I've been thinking about suggesting viewbotting to a lot of people because they don't do anything about it. There's countless streamers on this platform. Some of the top 10 streamers on this platform just viewbot. Just do it. Fuck it.
Now, of course, Shroud's just taking the piss here, but he's expressing frustration at how common it is and how there is seemingly no consequences for it. So, why wouldn't everyone just viewbot? Even though a lot of them are. Ask any, like, big streamer, except for the ones blatantly viewbotting, I suppose, about how rampant this issue is, and all of them will tell you the same thing. That a ton of people at, like, the upper echelon of Twitch viewership are viewbotting as well. It again, is not just reserved for, like, smaller streamers trying to break out by artificially inflating their numbers. It is just super common, and everybody knows it. But everyone also knows that there hasn't really been any effort from Twitch to stop it. It really feels like there is nobody at Twitch headquarters that gives a fuck about this subject at all. It seems like at best Twitch has like one dude, the intern Eric, who goes through manually and sometimes bans a handful of bots for like maybe an hour and then calls it a day for the bot detection and stoppage program. It's just been out of control. But in an unpredictable surprise, yesterday Twitch actually made an announcement that they're going to be doing more to crack down on viewbots and combat it. I'm a little doubtful on that, to be honest with you, but I guess we'll see. We're going to go over the statement here in a moment. They've had a huge problem wrestling with viewbots forever, but you know who hasn't had a problem wrestling? Me. With bad hygiene. I went in there and gave that shit a knuckle sandwich with our soap, Cheeky. Cheeky's the best soap in the universe, and I just wanted to put something on your radar. Right now we're doing a special promotional with one of our partners, Giga. She just debuted her new 3.0 and we wanted to celebrate by giving 20% off to anyone that uses her code at usecheeky.com, and we're also donating $1 for every bar of soap sold using her code to the Immune Deficiency Foundation. Just a little something we wanted to do after everything that happened with Fee Shoujo and Iron Mouse, so I just wanted to put that on your radar real quick. Anyway, this is Twitch's statement. They said, a quick update on view counts. We have teams and tech dedicated to ensuring that the views that show up on channels reflect actual viewership and aren't artificially inflated in any way. Ultimately, metrics on Twitch should represent the real and growing communities that show up and participate on channels, so we regularly update detection tools and methods. So I'm a little doubtful on how regularly they update those detection tools and methods because they are not efficient at all. They are terrible at doing the job that they are designed to do with stopping view bots. I would have actually preferred if they just came out and said, hey, we haven't taken viewbotting seriously on this platform until now. Now we're going to get serious about it. Because right now this just reads as, we try but we're just bad at it. Like, we have teams and tech dedicated to it, they just can't do it very well. So it doesn't inspire a ton of confidence with how little effect they've had on viewbots, despite apparently regularly updating their tools for it. Recently, we made changes that meaningfully improve our ability to identify viewbots, inauthentic viewership, and other potentially fake engagement. These changes will roll out over the next few weeks. So, if your channel was view-botted, or if some of your viewers are artificial or inflated, you'll see an impact on your channel's view count. This also means that third-party sites that publish unverified Twitch view counts are going to see changes to that data over time. We recognize that view-botting can be out of the streamer's control, and making these changes, our goal is to improve the experience for both streamers and viewers. Now, there is something I'd like to mention with this approach to announcing this. I am a little curious why they would announce this before actually doing something. Why not take action first and then explain later? Because right now you're giving viewbotters and the third parties that make the viewbots ample time to try and find ways around potential detection tools, or the streamers coming up with like excuses like, no, it must be someone else viewbotting me. Like, it's just giving people a lot of time to try and skirt this. I don't know why they wouldn't just implement these tools first, let them take action, and if they work really well and people do see drastic changes to their viewer numbers because of eliminating so much of the artificial bloat on it, then you could come forward and explain why. I feel like that would have been far more effective. Like, I don't really love the approach to like making this announcement like, here we come, we're taking down the viewbots, before actually having done that. Now, admittedly, this is still like the most we've got from Twitch in what feels like forever about viewbots and how they're going to do something about it. So it all sounds well and good that they're finally making what seems to be more of a priority out of this issue and trying to stop it. Like, they also recognize that sometimes it's not always the streamers that viewbot themselves. It could be a viewer doing it to try and get the streamer in trouble. But that never really works because Twitch doesn't give a fuck about viewbots, or at least historically it hasn't, so that never really amounts to anything other than just, once again, the stream being inflated with artificial numbers. But, like, at least the statement is them addressing the issue and saying that they are working and cooking up new ways of trying to stop it. And I hope that they're very effective. I just have my doubts about it, is all. Because as they mentioned, apparently they've already had all these tools and stuff, but they don't work super well. Unless they've had like a drastic overhaul and have really prioritized stopping this, I'm very curious to see the impact it has on viewbots. And I'm not saying it's like an easy problem to solve or anything. Obviously, it hasn't been mastered and perfected by any other platform either. There are viewbots out the wazoo across the internet in general. So, like, I understand that it's not just Twitch. But I think Twitch has kind of ignored it for a long time without taking it super seriously, despite it being a pretty big issue. I would love if they were correct here that there is going to be like some sweeping changes to view counts where now it's no longer inflated and it's harder for creators or viewers to try and artificially boost a stream with bots. I hope they do actually have some good like tech in place to stop that. I don't put a whole lot of faith in it. Twitch has become notorious for putting out statements like this with like these big changes that are coming that don't really amount to anything. Like, they don't actually really do much to change things that they talk about, at least historically. Now, that's not speaking in an absolute there. There have been times where they put out a statement like this and there has been big changes, obviously. But for this one in particular, I really get the feeling this will be another one of those things where they make a hoopla about like what's coming and what they're about to do to improve something, and then, you know, a few weeks down the line, it doesn't really change much. I hope I'm wrong. I hope when this fully rolls out over the next few weeks, we do notice a huge hit to viewbots on the platform. That would be great. I'm just a bit doubtful of it. And I think a lot of streamers that do viewbot are probably going to take this as like a warning to stop making it so obvious, because even their most brainwashed of followers will see like, oh, this streamer was once at like 2,000 average viewers, now they're down to 200. That's weird. What happened here? And then they'll hopefully connect the dots in their head like, oh, they must have been viewbotting this whole time, which of course is a really bad look from the streamer. So I'm assuming even just putting out this notice here is maybe going to help with some of those streamers that do actively viewbot. They might kind of put the brakes on it themselves a little bit to try and avoid, you know, suspicion or something perhaps. Either way though, I'm glad they're at least trying, or at least seeming like they're going to try. It's about time. This is long overdue. Now, Dan Clancy also made a statement about this, going into a bit more detail. He said, as highlighted in this recent Twitch support tweet, we just updated some of the code that we use to detect and eliminate viewbots. I wanted to quickly follow up on a few key points regarding the recent update to our viewbot detection. First, I want to be very clear that we always try to detect and eliminate viewbots. However, doing this in a manner that does not eliminate real viewers can be tricky. While I know for some of you it has been frustrating, we wanted to take our time to make sure we were not inadvertently filtering out real users. Second, I wanted to highlight that bots come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes streamers may be actively working with third parties to inflate their numbers. In other cases, the bots may be used to harass streamers. We don't want either type, because average concurrent viewers is intended to be a measure of the people that are watching the streamer at any given point in time. As is always the case, detecting viewbots is a bit of a cat and mouse game as third parties work to avoid our detection. We will continue monitoring and make updates over time to improve our viewbot detection system. As I mentioned, I recognize that it is not a simple problem to solve. The solution isn't very easy, but it really has felt over the years that this wasn't something Twitch ever really had a big concern with. Until now, I suppose. It's nice to hear that they have been trying to do things on the back end for a while to detect and eliminate viewbots. It sucks that it hasn't been that great. There hasn't been a whole lot of, juice from the squeeze there, because viewbots are still a rampant issue on the platform. But hopefully whatever changes they're rolling out here are robust and effective. Like, all I can do is hope. I'm just a bit doubtful given the history of Twitch. Anyway, though, I'll stop yapping about it. I guess we'll see if the viewer numbers across the platform take a huge hit here when this all rolls out. I will tell you, if they work well, if these tools are actually really strong, there should be a pretty significant decline in viewership from tons and tons of channels across the platform. So, we'll see. We will see. That's really about it. See ya.
This YouTuber was arrested and sentenced to prison for being a part of a conspiracy to blackmail one of the biggest mukbang influencers in the world. So it's safe to say we have one of the more insane stories that I've covered this year. Despite the widespread coverage of this both on the internet in Asia and on the mainstream news in Korea, I have not seen any Western publications really talk too much about this, as I could only find a handful of English videos actually talking about this situation, which made things slightly trickier researching this because, all the sources are Korean, so I had to translate everything myself and piece everything together. But I will say, it was absolutely worth it because this is such a wild story. So, meet Lee Jun-hee, aka Gu Ji-yook, which in English translates to foot and mouth disease. I'm not joking. And this guy is a South Korean YouTuber who gained public attention in 2021 after exposing a major scandal involving one of Korea's biggest streaming platforms and a controversial altcoin. And this case later on became known as Africa TV CoinGate. There's some fascinating names here. But anyway, at first, I was skeptical that that was the actual translation of his name, foot and mouth disease. But apparently this sentence does in fact mean foot and mouth disease. I say as someone who doesn't speak Korean, I'm just really relying on translators here, but that's what it seems like to me at least. And the name is just scratching the surface because just like in basically all my videos, it's all downhill from here. And the main reason the story has such a conspiracy vibe surrounding it is because at its core, it started as a conspiracy, and the more we learn about this man's history and the controversies he's been involved with, the more troubling it all becomes, because at first, we kind of just have to start from the beginning. In the past, foot and mouth disease, his YouTube channel was completely different to what it was right now. Now, most of his videos aren't public anymore, but you can see how diverse his content was. He used to do food reviews, experiments, song covers, and apparently even gaming. I feel like we've all been there before, at least with the gaming aspect. I used to be a gaming channel back in the day. Not a good one, but hey, we made it out of the trenches. And even though he didn't have many subscribers, he did at least have a good image attached to him. Not only did he upload consistently, but you'd often see him taking care of his mother, who was suffering from dementia, showing a very different side of Lee. In those days at least. Then in 2020, Lee, or foot and mouth disease, he started dabbling into making commentary-like videos, sometimes reporting on local news, sometimes giving his opinion on global and South Korean politics, and other times talking about celebrities. And out of everything that he did, the commentary videos definitely got the most views. However, foot and mouth disease's approach was very different from, say the least, the commentary videos we make here on this channel. Because rather than addressing the information and laughing about the stupid stuff that went down on the internet, this guy had a very different approach. Because essentially, he just picked people out and attacked them, even though in many cases, they didn't even deserve it, and no wonder his image started to worsen. Because it seems like he was an even more edgy, Leafy is here, but only attacking celebrities and political people in South Korea. And often the ways he attacked people wasn't really rooted in facts either. It was often kind of like, oh, I heard this, so I'm gonna start a rumor based on what I heard. So it's no wonder that his image started to worsen from there on out, because this is where things started to get pretty insane. Because what made things a little bit more interesting was there was also a particular hint of backroom dealings with his videos, where some would be, I guess, secretly deleted after some time. So yeah, it's not like this guy has made the best career choices throughout the years. In fact, South Korean users actually invented a term to describe the foot and mouth disease type of content, which is called apparently cyber wrecking. And this is apparently where you essentially make up false speculations about someone else popular and then include a bunch of personal attacks that the target doesn't want on the internet. And this is apparently what the people in South Korea call cyber wreckers. Their main targets tend to be famous influencers and South Korean celebrities. In particular, foot and mouth disease became a very hot topic not too long ago after Nana, a South Korean actress and former singer of the girl group After School, publicly announced that she was suing him for spreading false information about her.
The question has been answered. Nana, an actress from the group After Departure, has sued YouTuber Koo Jae-hyuk, who was recently arrested for blackmailing a YouTuber Chiang to extort money from her. She accused him of spreading falsehoods about her personal life. This is what Nana posted on social media on the 24th. I filed a lawsuit and said that I will respond strongly without any punishment. So if you chose me as a provocative issue, you chose me very well. I said I would show you in person. He wrote, "Who does Jae-hyuk Koo know me?" and warned of legal action against him. Earlier, Koo Jae-hyuk spoke with Kim Si-hee, the CEO of the YouTube channel Garosero Research Institute, and said that Nana had a deep kiss with the businessman and influencer. Friends allegedly recommended drugs. Koo Jae-hyuk is currently in custody and awaiting trial for allegedly extorting tens of millions of won by blackmailing the foodie YouTuber.
And his latest target, and probably the one who has got him into the most trouble until now, was Chu Yang, who is one of the biggest mukbang creators in South Korea and honestly in the world, because she has over 10 million subscribers. And apparently, who would have known? When you try to extort millions of won from someone while recording everything on your phone, things don't normally end too well. And that is exactly what happened here. Because on July 10th, 2024, during a live broadcast on the official channel of Garosero Institute, which is an alternative Korean news channel known for covering a lot of controversial topics, they revealed that 3 famous YouTubers were involved in a scheme blackmailing Chu Yang. And they were actually one of the first media outlets to report on this case, even before Chu Yang herself publicly discussed it on her channel. These 3 YouTubers not only allegedly worked together on this scheme, they also had this kind of like secret group of their own, which was apparently called the Online Tow Truck Mutual Aid Association. That included foot and mouth disease, Jeon Guk-jin, and Karakula. And apparently a couple other creators, but that's not really that relevant to us right now because they were never brought up into the trial. But the Garosero Institute also allegedly revealed how much they had extorted from her. At this stage, the amount was already more than tens of millions of won on the condition that they would not reveal Chu Yang's past to the public. For context, 10 million won is about $7,500. And shortly after this news broke, Chu Yang herself came forward and revealed that she had also been a victim of not only extortion, but this past that she wanted to hide was her being a victim of dating violence, threats, actively being robbed by her ex-boyfriend, and forced to work in the last 4 to 5 years of her life.
Popular mukbang YouTuber known as Ziyang, whose real name is Park Jung-won, has alleged she was subjected to physical assault and blackmail by a former boyfriend over several years. Now, some YouTubers have even threatened her to expose her ordeal. The prosecution has now initiated an investigation into these YouTubers.
And this is where I guess foot and mouth disease starts to panic, because he then released a statement through his YouTube channel's community tab trying to defend himself, in which he subtly suggested that this whole incident was nothing more than a misunderstanding. And then he went on to guarantee once he had all the cards on the table that everyone would be able to understand his side of the story. And here it says, I apologize for not being able to protect Xu Zhang's right to be forgotten. I swear to heaven that I never did anything shameful and I did my best to protect Xu Zhang's right to be forgotten. I currently have complete interviews with the victims and all the people involved, and I will tell you everything by tomorrow morning at the latest. I will say this once again, I did not receive any extortion money and I did not blackmail anyone. If you had heard the illegally obtained audio recordings, you would have known all the conversations between Xu Zhang and me. But I will not forgive those scumbags who exposed Xu Zhang's painful wounds to the world just to explain themselves. Please wait just one day. As always, I will win if I go all the way. And I guess up until this point he kept his word, because as promised, the next day he uploaded a new video on his channel discussing his side of the Xu Yang case. And even though this video has now been deleted, which is a little bit ironic as well, he claimed that he actually acted as a double agent. Clearly, he's not the bad guy here. He was just a double agent, ladies and gentlemen. He was using immoral means to protect Xu Yang all along. Okay, right. I guess that makes sense. No, it doesn't make sense at all. This guy, foot and mouth disease, essentially never had anything to do with Xu Yang in the first place, because before these recent events, they had no direct connection to each other. It's not like they had any history together at all, because they don't. They've never met. But still, the Garosera Institute reported that foot and mouth disease was extorting Xu Yang based on leaking information about her past. However, how would he ever know anything about Xu Yang's past if he's never been there before? So, of course, he had some sort of informant, which is why I guess he claimed to be acting as this double agent. Because in addition to his statements, in his latest video, he also showed the transcript of a contact that he supposedly made with either Xu Zhang or Xu Yang's management team. And here's the kicker. So to keep everything that he knew a secret and to reveal the identity of this informant only to Xu Yang herself, they would have to pay him around 55 million won, which in terms of this incident is no different from saying he just sold out his informant's personal information for about $40,000. And then he went on to claim that he tried his best to hide Xu Zhang's past. But thankfully, the people in the comments, they were awake and they were like, this sounds pretty conflicting, dude. Because hey, if you really cared and wanted to protect all this, he would have just deleted all the relevant recordings instead of keeping them as they were as, you know, potential blackmail. So it's safe to say, in the end, his self-proclaimed double agent story kind of backfired on him in a way that he honestly probably didn't even expect. Essentially, he burned the bridges with both parties over here, both the informant and with Xu Zhang and her team. TLDR, he dug his own grave, and that is if the double agent story is remotely true. But things got even worse for him when Xu Zhang, along with her attorney team, publicly announced that they were suing foot and mouth disease and the other two members of the Online Tow Truck Association, and apparently was going for this case with no leniency. So then in response, Foot and Mouth Disease uploaded a new video on his channel titled, I will submit my golden phone to the 3rd Criminal Division of the Seoul Central District Prosecutor's Office and voluntarily appear. And he did. But I guess the guy got a little bit ahead of himself because he did that before the prosecution even started investigating him. So there wasn't really too much they could do yet. And apparently a golden phone over there is a term to describe a phone in which someone stores specific information. In this case, it means the 17,000 recorded phone calls between Foot and Mouth Disease and the other people. But it's safe to say that things got really bad for him on July 16th, 2024, when the attorney representing Xu Zhang in court appeared on the CBS radio's Kim Hwan-jun's news show and stated that the claim that Foot and Mouth Disease was a double agent, that was false. After that, they could do nothing more than surrender and publicly admit that they had really attempted to extort Xu Zhang.
In a new development, those who are accused of threatening Jiang have suddenly changed their stance. They admitted to demanding and accepting money in exchange for not disclosing her past.
YouTubers who blackmailed Ziyang offered their apologies. Tonguk Jin, who runs a YouTube channel that supposedly verifies unfounded rumors, uploaded a video of his apology on his channel. He said he had suggested extorting money from Ziyang when another YouTuber, Kujeok, was about to expose her past. In his apology, Chun admitted he had received 3 million won, roughly $2,100 from Ziyang's management agency. Ziyang took legal action after telling the public about how she suffered violence in the past. This comes a day after YouTube suspended the monetization for the channels run by so-called cyber records. YouTubers Karacula and Kuzeyak, who had been claiming they were unfairly accused, offered Ziyang their apologies. Ziyang's legal team warned of additional lawsuits, saying more people had attempted to blackmail her.
So almost 10 days after that, on the afternoon of July 23rd, the Suwon District Prosecutor's Office requested an arrest warrant for foot and mouth disease, and Jeon Juk-kin on charges of intimidation and coercion in addition to blackmail. And at around 8 p.m. on July 26, 2024, they had both been arrested. The prosecution stated that foot and mouth disease and Jeon Juk-kin organized themselves and conspired to commit crimes by creating the association called the Korean Online Tow Truck Mutual Aid Association in 2021. And yes, the authorities now acknowledge the existence of this secret group, which is something really interesting. Because even though everyone is aware of this presence today, the idea of like a mutual help association among these like cyber wrecking YouTubers for essentially blackmailing their targets is absolute insane. I have never seen anything like this on YouTube. So it's really interesting seeing all this unfold. This would literally be like if some of the biggest creators in the US bonded together in this like secret group and then started making hit pieces on people and telling them, hey, we will keep releasing more information if you don't pay us. That's crazy. But obviously, things got even worse for them. And after their crimes were revealed, they attempted to destroy evidence systematically, such as editing recorded phone calls, uploading videos defaming Chu Zhang, causing secondary damage. And now, I guess, as of pretty recently, actually, in the first trial, they were sentenced to 3 years in prison. But there's a separate trial going on as well. So their next hearing is in September for that one. And here, they could be facing an additional 3 to 5 years. Because here on the Mail, the Mail business newspaper, it says prosecutors asked the appeals court to sentence Yuver foot and mouth disease, real name Lee Jung-hee, who was sentenced to 3 years in prison in his first trial threatening Chu Zhang, real name Park Jung-won, an eating YouTuber with 10 million subscribers, to 4 years in prison. So my understanding here is they want an additional 4 years on top of what already happened in the first trial. Here the prosecution is saying it is questionable whether the defendant sincerely reflects on his second offense, including the denial of the allegations in the investigation process, the lower court, and the appellate court, and accusing the victim of innocence. And the prosecution also demanded 3 years in prison for the other YouTuber involved here. Okay, so the court sentence is on September 5th for this case, so it'll definitely be interesting to see what happens there. No! That was so stupid. I was trying to get a fly and I'd spilled Coke all over the room. The fly is still flying around taunting me. This is awful. But I mean, hey, at least he didn't get scammed by AI Jennifer Aniston like this guy did in this video right here. But other than that, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
Hey guys, Blaming on George here, and a few months back I had a series called The Lost Media Case Files, where I discussed new pieces of lost media. With so many weird mysteries being posted online, I wanted to revive that series as kind of a monthly feature. And in order to do so, we'll need some protection, and that's where this video is sponsored.